still in yeshiva, my 5th year, and I'm loving it.
So I've been here for 3 years. It's perfect because you don't have 20, 25 kids in the class.
You develop each bochur's potential individually.
Every time you have a question, there's someone to answer it.
The dorm, the Bais Medrash, the dining room, the classrooms, everything's in one building.
Rabbi Strassfeld and Rabbi Blumberg, and then of course the Rebbeim. We work together in unison to be able to take care of all the needs of a Bochur in his growing years, how to develop into a mature individual.
Rabbi Yosef Strassfeld, the Menahel, he's the neshama of HaRav Yosef. His ruach, his personality is what defines the Yeshiva of Englewood. And everything we do is just in some way trying to emulate what he does.
She could have set up a Mukas Eitz, Tachtel. If she's a Mukas Eitz Tachtel, what's the halacha?
The shir gives a shir good and clear. It raises a Bochur's level and understanding and learning like he's never had before.
Rav Don Blumberg, the Rosh Yeshiva, he's our Meridech, he's our Das Torah. We take all our cues from him. Every decision that happens in the yeshiva happens only after having been discussed with him and his leadership.
If Tais has a problem of
I'm Rabbi Shir, and it's like a father and son.
We are here to help them get to that point where they are mature adults ready to face life and all that life brings them, and to make the most out of what they can be.
Well, we're trying to give these boys a feeling of purpose, not only while they're here, but for their whole lives.
To find a Rebbe sitting down learning with the Bochur, b'chavrusa, which you don't necessarily see elsewhere, because we're here for the Bochur.
And he said, means?
So the Gemara says a real Malamed is someone who has the care of the concern of the boys on his head 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
You can always go around.
I think we got a properly. Why?
We added Rabbi Duretsky as Sgan Manal this year. The amount of time, passion that he spends with the boys, spends with the parents on the phone, is unreal.
We really have upgraded in many ways, both, as you say, in Ruchnius and in Gashmius. Rabbi Simcha Schwartz is our new Mashgiach, who is very much in tune with the boys.
I'm helping a Bochur apply the Limudim that he learns in his classroom, to how to apply the Ksais and Bikfeger outside of the perimeters of the regular curriculum of yeshiva, how Bochur could shteig as a bigger masmid, how to utilize the advantages of having a Bais Medrash and having Alter Bochur.
The addition of those two really brought our yeshiva to another level, and the yeshiva is evolving and growing both on the Mesivta level and on the Bais Medrash level.
Rabbi Schwartzman, he runs the Bekiyas program. That's a change this year. He teaches Bekiyas to every single shir, in addition to running the night seder and giving a post-night seder Bekiyas.
These are 3 different situations where the parents of the tree will not be your akila.
I enjoy helping a Bochur develop his skills in the areas that I can help him out.
I'd also like to mention our board that we have a lot of Akaras Hatayv. To first and foremost is the Alpert family, Rabbi Yosef, he should have a refuah shlema. They're so helpful, and Ori, who comes to the meetings and does so much good for us. I'd like to mention my good friend Harry Skydell.
Personally want to thank Liza Josefovic, who has been there for years. The time and effort that you put in is unreal. And last but not least, I need to thank Mr. Yitz Joseph, who, like all the others, I really, truly have to thank you for giving us your time and of your resources.
Thanks to the Davis family, we were able to renovate the dormitory rooms, and we've also been able to make new classrooms.
To walk in the first day of the yeshiva and see the smile on the boys' faces and their amazement and where am I? It was just unreal.
It's good to socialize in the dorm rooms during Shabbos afternoons, during supper breaks. They redid them, very nice now.
In a dormitory yeshiva, besides the classroom learning of a yeshiva Bochur, there's how does a yeshiva Bochur, how does a Ben Torah live a life? That's his classroom of learning how to be a Ben Torah and applying the learning that he's learning in the shiur and applying that to his daily life.
Yes, from time is Of course, yeah. But who says it's being my Pesach?
When a Bochur comes to the yeshiva, he's not just coming to learn a Taisvis. They're here for Yom Ne'roim. When it comes to Ne'ilah, everyone is very, very into it. The davening is very, very strong. And then on the daily basis, we learn Musar to try to give them Hashkafa. They should know that you have to have goals and what the goals should be. And we try to help them reach their dreams.
My son came to the yeshiva. Fire underneath him was still the pilot. It hadn't been ignited yet.
What's going to happen? You tell me what's going to happen. Forget about Rashi. What did you say?
He came to the yeshiva and he met Rabbi Duretsky. The pilot was raised, the light was on fire, and I've spoken with Rabbi Krupnik many times this year, and he tells me that Sruli is learning, and he's mamish is on top of the shir, and he's working on the shir.
I was looking for a yeshiva that my son would not dorm in. I wanted him to be at home. And he gets a ride with a Rebbe in the morning, and in the evening he comes home with Rabbi Stern. They'll do really anything to help out a talmid.
The mitzvahs that we have on Purim, Matanos Levyanim, Mishlach Monos.
My son is in 10th grade. Rabbi Krupnik is his Rebbe. He's growing in Avodas Hashem. I think this is due in large part to the dedication of Rabbi Strassfeld, Rabbi Krupnik. They go beyond the extra mile to help every talmid, I think, find their potential and realize their potential.
Yeah, people ask us sometimes, how do you let your son stay away from the house the whole year? So, in a place like this, it's small, and the Rebbeim are constantly watching and making sure he's growing. We feel very comfortable. Actually, Rabbi Rosenberg is our neighbor. He's always there to answer our questions.
Rabbi Duretsky was amazing. He knew how to make a child feel successful. I remember his famous quote to me was, the best way to help them succeed is to let them taste success.
I'm a new parent at Yeshivas Ar Simcha, and I just see the smile on my son's face. When he comes in every Friday, he just feels very good about himself.
And I have parents who come back to me and tell me that I always knew my Bochur had what it took, but it took Englewood to bring that out. Then I know I'm doing my job.
One of the greatest things is that we get to have a close relationship, a close shaykhis with an Adam Gadol, the Rosh Yeshiva, someone who's spent his entire life learning Torah, and we not only get to have a connection with him in teaching us how to learn, but also in seeing how a person like that lives his everyday life. So recently my father passed away, and it was really amazing first that to see how all the bochurim were there for us, me and my brothers. Rabbi Duretsky, the 9th grade Rebbe, came to St. Louis during the Shiva, and Rabbi Friedman of the Bais Medrash came twice during Shiva. The staff of the yeshiva really went out on a limb to show that they cared about us. It was an amazing thing.
When I came here, I was a very different kid. I was very lost and not focused, and I was really not happy then. They taught me that the days, it's something, the learning is really something.
There are many, many boys here that don't come in as Mitziyonim, but are leaving here as Mitziyonim.
We have boys who end up in the secular workforce, and we have those who end up in Kodesh. The primacy is on learning, the importance of learning, the importance of becoming talmidei chachamim.
Helping bochurim grow, and learning, helping bochurim grow as mentioned, adding happiness to their life. There's nothing like it.
To change his paradigm, to change his worldview, to change his self-view.
And the job of the Rebbe is to motivate them into learning, and they should have a geschmack.
A geschmack is being in a Rebbe's shir. There's nothing more geschmack than that.
Now I know that I can have a Rebbe for the rest of my life, not just in learning, in all shilos that I'm going to have throughout life.
I'm very grateful to the staff for all the stuff they've given me.
It's great.
Englewood is a great yeshiva.
We are the stars at the end.
Right.
We are the guys.
We are the guys.